How's it going, guys? Thank you for the birthday wishes on yesterday's video. I did not upload yesterday because I was busy out celebrating, having some fun, heading to the mall, watching some movies. And by movies, I mean I just watched one movie. I went to go see the new James Bond movie, which is really good. If you guys have not seen Skyfall yet, I highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it. And I just went to go have some kick-ass burger, came back and played some video games and called it a day. So, because I don't really have any other material, I'm thinking about streaming this weekend, but I do have a lot of Showdown videos backed up, like I mentioned, but they're all using the same tournament team that I just got done using the other day. So, I figure I might as well slap three of them together. The common thing between them is they are all against Sun teams, which for whatever reason I found kind of fun. So a little fun in the sun triple header going on with this thing. I slowed it down a little bit, so hopefully you guys can kind of see what's going on, but I haven't really been talking about what's going on. I just magic coded a Chansey, got some hazards set up, spun blocked the fortress, and that was really about it. So that's all you guys missed out on. I ended up trick scarfing right there, just on the off chance that he was going to end up staying in and trying to go for a gyro ball or whatever. I would have taken less damage from it, but it turns out I just gave the Ninetales a choice scarf, which isn't really that big a deal because it's locked in on a more than likely a fire type move now, which means I can definitely go into Gyarados, get behind a sub, and set up. The other thing I was realizing like midway through the tournament as well is that this team really functions around having choice pokes on the opposing side of the field and then subbing and then setting up from there. Gyarados with Dragon Dance, Cobalion with Swords Dance, and then Kyurem just being a big ass threat behind a sub. So Chansey is really going to be annoying with the Wish and the whole Eviolite thing. I don't think, actually, you know what? We saw Toxic on the first turn, so I don't really think Chansey's carry Toxic and T-Wave, so I feel fine staying in here for a little bit as long as he doesn't end up getting me. Turns out he does get me. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and switch out, decide to go into my Gengar because now that I know that, you know, the prior knowledge from turn one, I've kind of been trying to scout out the rest of his set, but he's got Wish, he's got Seismic Toss, he's got Toxic. I don't know what else he has, but it turns out I'm just going to go into Gengar because it can handle him pretty well. Now, I take the Choice Scarf off the Victini, which is actually pretty nice because it means that now that the Choice Scarf is gone, it's going to end up being slower than my Gyarados, and now it has the Intimidate drop. It has the -1 on defense, speed, defense, special defense, speed, and attack, which is what I'm reading here. It unfortunately does not kill with the waterfall just because it's in the sun, but he gets even more drops. Now he's -1 attack, -2 on all the stuff that V-Create does, because 2 turns in doing that stuff. I get to bring in my Kyurem and take the bad guy out with a Dragon Claw. I did not want to fuck around with the off chance that he might have ended up switching out, but in comes Fortress. The rapid spin is really obvious, and even if he gyro balls, I don't mind it too much. I don't want him blowing away the hazards just yet, because he's got that Dragonite, which is weak to the hazards, and he's got a bunch of other stuff. So he goes into the Dragonite. I guess he knew that it was going to end up tricking again, but I just end up giving him the Choice Scarf again. That's fine. I'm not really too scared of the fact that he might go for Flamethrower or Fire Blast if D-Knights do run that. I do see that he's a special variant right here. I don't remember if I saw that earlier. But Fortress is going to come back in to try to blow away the hazards because his Ninetales is now scarfed and his D-Knight is now scarfed. His Chansey can't do shit to Gengar. So I've kind of got him in a good spot until he rapid spins away everything. I figure, hey, you know what? I'll let him do that right now because why the hell not? I got up a Swords Dance and I'm still behind a sub at the time, you know, that I take out the Fortress, so it's not a bad situation at all. But he's going to bring in Venusaur, which is his Sun Sweeper. Going to go for the HP, I would assume Fire, and then I'm just going to be able to go for an Iron Head and do 89%. Are you fucking shitting me? Come on. Cobalion, what are you doing? I don't even know if that was some minimum bullshit or like maximum just fell shy. But at the end of the day, I just have to leave it in his Death Fodder to Life Orb and whatnot. So go for a Reflect right here. This was a huge lapse in judgment because the only stuff he has left I've already seen is just like special attackers. If you look on the side, it's like Ninetales, and then D-Knight went for the Draco. I can assume from there that it's more than likely going to end up being purely special. End up giving the Chansey a Life Orb over the Eviolite as it comes in. I would have much rather Trick Scarf this thing, but you know, the fact that I took off the Eviolite on it at the end of the day is just really going to be the only thing that matters here. So get to go into my Espeon on the off chance that he wants to, I don't know, fucking go for a Toxic, predicting my switch into Kyurem Black. As you can see, the score is 3-3, and all I really have to do is play around Chansey, and I basically have the game in the bag. But he goes for a Wish right here. I'm going to go for a sub as he actually tries to go for a Toxic. the funny thing is he ended up missing instead of it failing. So I end up going for a Dragon Claw right here. I get a crit right here, which is actually pretty fortunate. I would end up winning this in the long run because my subs do take seismic tosses. I mean, he can wish and do all that stuff all he wants, but I still have Espeon and Gengar, and he'll just end up running out of that eventually. But we got the D-Knight coming in because it is Choice Scarfed, it is faster than me, and it does break my sub. But just get to take him out with the Dragon Claw, no big deal. Ninetales is his last one, ends up coming in, going for a Fire Blast. I probably should have just tried to kill him off right here. I didn't really want to screw around with it, though, because I did give it a Choice Scarf very early in the game. I kind of want to stall out all the Fire Blast first, because I know that does happen to be a an 8 power point move, and then once he's gone with them, he's gone with them. But right here, I figured I've stalled out at least 4 or 5 of them. I end up going for a Dragon Claw. Turns out it just kills it anyway. This was before I put some EVs in attack, so I wasn't too sure about that. But that's what happened with that game. That was a 3-0, and then I believe I have another one coming up after this. Maybe? Is it on the track? I think it's on the track. So I got a second game here against someone by the name of Abby Face, and got a Sun team. As you can see, 4 out of 6 pokes on this team kind of match what I had going on, you know, like months past that team. The only differences are Togekiss and P2 in the place of Donphan and Kingdra. Now, the thing I'm noticing is because no Donphan or no Spinner or anything of the sort, I'm going to try to set up as many fucking hazards as I can. Togekiss ends up coming in from the red card and then just ends up going for a Shadow Ball before I set up my spikes. Now, this is important because I now know that this thing is Choice Scarfed, own a base speed, shit like that. Definitely means I can set up a sub with Cobalion, and Porygon 2 is not touching me in any way whatsoever. I mean, the best thing you could probably do is go for a T-Bolt to break my sub, but Ice Beam and Tri-Attack ain't gonna do shit. I don't even know if he ended up having T-Bolt on this thing, but it lets me get a Swords Dance, and I'm able to take it out from behind the sub. Now, this Cobalion does so much work. I kind of want to say that this thing is like the MVP of this team in nearly every situation, because Ninetales is going to come in. This thing is jolly. Okay, this thing is jolly max attack, max speed, because it lets you outspeed the 128s and then not the 120, 328s, which is base 100. So anything, I think it's like base 105, 106, something like that. There's a lot of pokes that fall in that tier, and then with Jolly, you just push above them and you just take them out. So Heatran doesn't even fall in that range unless it was Choice Scarf. Now, this fucking play right here, this should have happened first, because I end up cleaning out Porygon 2, Ninetales, Heatran, and then Sawsbuck owing to it should have just been Sawsbuck if you ask me, and then Venusaur should have come in. But I'm going to end up going out into my Espeon to try to bounce back the Sleep Powder. He ends up predicting it very nicely and going for the Giga Drain, or just trying to take me out from like -5. Either or were definitely options. I think that was -5, -4 or -5, I don't know. But I set up a light screen right here, knowing that I'm not really going to be able to get away with too much, and all of a sudden, the freaking tables are going to turn right here. So Sleep Powder happens. That's actually fine by me, because I know that this Venusaur can't really hurt me that much with the Giga Drain anyway, as long as the light screen's up. And then Hidden Power Fire won't, under normal circumstances, really do that much. It is at +2 spec attack, and it does have a Life Orb, but I do have a light screen, for fuck's sake. And I mean, it is in the sun, but that's still, that was annoying. I woke up and I tried to set up a sub and I didn't get it off. So I end up going for the trick right here, because I know it's going to be really tempted to go for the Sleep Powder above all else. And now if he tries to stay in and Sleep Powder, it's not going to let him, as opposed to him losing, because that's how Sleep Claws works on Showdown. But I get to go out into my Gyarados on the double switch as he goes into Togekiss, get to go back out into my Gengar as Death Fodder, and I don't really know what I'm going to do about a Choice Scarf Togekiss and a Choice Scarf Venusaur. But it's locked in on Air Slash, you know, got the freaking 60% odds, and I'm not looking like I'm in a good boat, because this thing is still faster than me, but it fortunately doesn't flinch me right here, and I'm able to take it out with a close combat. Now, I think Venusaur is the only thing left, but because it is Choice, it has to pick a move right now to try to take the rest of my dudes out with. If it picks HP Fire, it's not going to end up working out for Gyarados, and then if it picks Giga Drain, Cobalion should be able to take it, but it ends up getting a crit, and it's just like, all this hacks. Hacks is what evens shit out. Even though you're playing good, this is what happened. You know, I freaking flattened out 4 of these things, and then like crits happened and all that shit. But ended up being a 1-0 because I had bounce, so that was cool. Anyways, got a third game coming up. Let me adjust that in the Vegas track, and we'll jump right into it. And we have the third and final game against somebody by the name of Mikalu. Now, because I don't have a weather starter like I've been mentioning, all they have to do is just fucking lead off with their weather, and then there's no weather war whatsoever. But the other thing I've been noticing, like, the entire day that I was playing on Showdown, is when people run Sun teams, they don't put a spinner on it. It's like, why would you shoot yourself in the foot like that? That's just asking for entry hazards. Like, I got up on, like, turn 2, I got Stealth Rocks, Layer Spikes. It is gonna hurt the Ninetales and the Arcanine pretty decently, and it's gonna do some passive damage to Rosary and Chomp as well. So the fact that I get that up is nice. So we have a little interesting scenario going on here with Gyarados and Latias. I did not expect this Latias to be a bulkier, like, slower build, I guess, or maybe I'm just underestimating Gyarados. I mean, this is an Adamant Gyarados, and this is a +1 bounce, and it only does half. Now, that kind of surprised me, but then the Psyshock really doesn't do that much either, that being stab and everything. Latias having a pretty good spec attack stat as well. But I'm going to go for a Dragon Dance in its face, actually predicting it to go for the recover as I end up going for the bounce. And I just, you know, I switch it up a little bit just to make sure this bounce actually hits a little harder. So go for this bounce. It does 70%, and bounce actually does have the chance to paralyze. So got that going on. As you can see, Draco Meteor only did like 50%. And because of the spec attack cut, I know that I can just hide behind a sub, and I should be good to go because we've seen Psyshock, we've seen Draco Meteor, we've seen Recover. The fourth, I would venture as to say, is probably HP Fire, but it's completely pointless to go for right now on a Gyarados, especially with the reduced spec attacks. That Psyshock is just a better option. I don't even know why I'm even talking about this, but I'm still behind a sub, and I try to go for a Waterfall. I admit that I was fishing for the flinch on that one, but if it didn't end up flinching, I was thinking that it was going to end up going for Recover. It just ended up going for the Psyshock. That's kind of whatever, but as you can see, I can go for another bounce, and it ends up that she just switches out, does not want to play this game anymore, not getting anywhere with it. I mean, I can actually just sub up in this Bronzong's face as well. I really don't think... Well, Gyro Ball could actually do a decent amount, but ends up opting for the Stealth Rocks over the Gyro Ball first, which is a decent play as well. I end up going for another Dragon Dance because I want Waterfall to hurt more. I know Gyro Ball is going to hurt more from behind a sub. Or no, not from behind a sub. Gyro Ball is going to hurt more because I just Dragon Dance. But instead of going for the Gyro Ball, he just ends up switching. I was pretty set on the idea of just Dragon Dancing until the sub was broken and then going for Waterfall. But because of this fact, it's just like, I'm just going to head up some more. So I'm at like 4 or 5, something like that. I really don't know. But it's a pretty dangerous number. So I get to go for a sub again. Psyshock is going to end up breaking it. I don't know why I went for the sub. That was kind of silly. But going to go for a bounce right now. And we see the fourth move is actually Calm Mind as opposed to HP Fire, which actually kind of makes more sense on a Sun team. And right here, all that was for Bane because Reflect actually wore off on the turn that the bounce hit, which is kind of good for that little stalling thing right there. And it just ends up fucking taking it out. And then so all that was for nothing because Arcanine just kills it off with E-Speed, which was kind of silly. I don't know if that Arcanine is choice, but it for whatever reason decides to switch out, doesn't want anything to do with what I'm doing. I get dual screens up, goes for Flamethrower, does not take me out, which means I am good to go to either Psychic or to just, you know, try to kill it off. Or no, Psychic is trying to kill it off. To Psychic or to switch. I decide to Psychic, and that leaves it to the point where Gengar can take it out with the Shadow Ball, and we're looking pretty good. So Chomp is going to come in. Even if it is a Scarf Chomp, I definitely can deal with it after some entry hazards, but I need the means to switch up moves. So I'm going to go into my Cobalion, actually predicting the Outrage, because the only reason you would bring in a Garchomp on a Gengar is if you were Scarfed yourself, right? So end up going for a sub instead. If it does happen to be Scarfed, then I'm just good to go. So 3-turn Outrage going on, and we can see by the fact that it outsped me on this turn, and I think maybe even the turn before. It's Scarfed, so nothing to worry about here, nothing to see here, folks. But goes out in a Bronzong, and you're not going to believe how actually good to go I am at this point, because Choice Pokes, I just function around those like a madman. So gonna get another Swords Dance up. Reflect is up. I'm pretty sure I can take it out from +4 even with the Reflect up. So I go for a close combat. That wasn't even a crit or anything, just straight up Cobalion's awesome. If he had a higher attack stat, he'd be a lot more threatening on this team, but he's not really too high because he's jolly, but that's okay. So Arcanine gonna come in, not even do anything, just straight up dies to a close combat, not even gonna try to go for the extreme speed. Even though it is resisted, I do have a couple of defense drops, so that could have been a thing, but I think Garchomp is going to end up going for Fire Fang, breaking my sub, and I just wanted a sub to see what he was going to end up doing. Since he goes for Fire Fang, I figure I might as well just stay in close combat. He's only got 5% to miss it. Or, you know what? I was subbing to wait for the Reflect to go away, so that way I could get a sure kill with Kyurem Black on Roserade, I believe, or just even right here in this scenario. But I end up subbing down, getting lower on HP than I really need to be, and if I'm not mistaken, I think this Roserade is just going to die straight out to an Iron Head from... Oh, no, this thing was Scarf. That's right. Okay, well, that's not even a big deal at all, because I really don't think a Scarf Weather Ball is going to do over, like, 50%. It turns out it only does 45%. It's just fucking Dragon Claw. Get that shit out of here. Okay, that was 3 Showdown videos, because I actually don't really have any battles in my battle folder right now. I had these, and I was like, you know what, I want to upload for you guys today, because I'm not busy anymore, and I can do that. So, that was 3 Showdown videos, Showdown shit. I'll probably do some more Showdown and PO stuff next week, but I really want to get back to Wi-Fi battling in the coming weeks as well, so be on the lookout for that stuff. And if you missed any of the videos that I've uploaded this week, be sure to take a look for them, because I did upload some TCGO and some LP related stuff for those of you guys that watch that stuff. So that's some stuff, and then we got other stuff coming up, and then fucking stuff. I don't know. See you later.